Let's tell you now about Govt. It says it has requested legal advice on the scope of a state of disaster over the energy crisis. The Cabinet Lekgotla today is debating whether to procure emergency power from a form and considering its intervention in municipalities across the country. I beg your pardon. The Cabinet Lekgotla is a precursor to the State of the Nation address. Newzroom Afrika's Govan Whittles is in Pretoria and he joins us now. Govan, the Deputy President curiously absent once again. Just before you tell us about the scope of the discussions.
Indeed, the seat of the Deputy President absent at this crucial Cabinet Lekgotla, the last one before a Cabinet reshuffle, and one of the most important as the President and his Cabinet prepare to introduce a national state of disaster over the energy crisis. Let's put it into perspective. The Deputy President, David Mabuza, hasn't attended any official ANC event or government event since he was ousted from his position as ANC Deputy President at the conference at Nasrec towards the end of last year. He was conspicuously missing from the January 8 celebrations and has tendered an apology for his absence at every major ANC meeting since then, which includes the last weekend's NEC Lekgotla. Today he's absent again. The Minister in the Presidency saying that he had tendered his apology but refused to state exactly why he couldn't attend this meeting. This comes as news is filtered in from Parliament that Paul Mashatile has been confirmed to be a Member of Parliament. He's expected to be sworn in within the next few days. It looks like the current crop of cabinet ministers will be accompanying the President to the State of the Nation address, but he might just reshuffle the cabinet before then. In the cabinet meeting today, the Lekgotla were obviously members of the executive deputy ministers as well as premiers and representatives from the different municipalities. And the energy crisis really dominated the discussions. We have some clarity now that the government is still considering how to introduce the state of disaster. They're not sure whether they want to provide a relief grant to businesses who've been affected by the power cuts. Instead, the Minister in the Presidency only saying that they're keeping a close eye on the impact of load shedding. Let's listen to what Mondli Gungubele had to say about what they hope to achieve through the state of disaster and why exactly they would need these special regulations to respond to the energy crisis.
Of course, there's a call that wouldn't a disaster declaration help us jump other processes which sometimes do not respond to the situation. We don't have a response here with regard to whether there's a legal base for us to declare disaster. Investigations are being done. I hope we'll be advised as quick as possible in a manner consistent with the crisis that we're confronted with.
Minister in the Presidency, Mondli Gungubele, speaking just ahead of that photo opportunity of the Cabinet Lekgotla. It's been on for 2 days already. They've received crucial reports on how Eskom's plants are managing. But this is not the only matter that's firmly on the agenda here. They're looking at the state of crime in the country, which seems to be out of control, and they're preparing a responsive or comprehensive response to what seems to be an escalation in violent attacks on South African citizens. We're expecting more detail from that, of course, in the State of the Nation address. That's really what this Cabinet Lekgotla is about, is consolidating government's plans towards an agenda for the year that'll be implemented and first announced in the State of the Nation address and then implemented throughout the year. The big takeaways are likely to be the deployment of senior government members to different municipalities across the country. We've been told we shouldn't be surprised to see ministers who are reshuffled out of the cabinet popping up in cities across the country that are notorious for having dysfunctional municipalities. That's certainly something to keep an eye out for. But of course, looming large over this cabinet, Cabinet Lekgotla is the reshuffle that's anticipated. We know that Paul Mashatile, the ANC Deputy President, is coming into the cabinet as the Deputy President of the country. that Fikile Mbalula will be resigning and the new transport minister will be appointed, likely to see Sihle Zigalala, the former KZN premier, coming into the cabinet. And there's a vacancy in the Department of Public Service and Administration, so it could either be the Department of Transport or Public Service and Administration. But there are also a number of other changes expected. And we're keeping a close eye to see whether Lindiwe Sisulu, the tourism minister, survives this reshuffle or if she is permanently removed from this cabinet. For now, though, Dudu, it's back to you.
Govan, Whittles, thank you very much for that comprehensive update. Well.